All right, moving on to part 4, Initiation. I didn't even think I was going to get any movies done today. I was just like, there's no way. And somehow I got 3 and 4 done while I was wrapping presents. So it is what it is. I'm glad I got to. Now, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 Initiation, or Initiation, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, whichever way you want to say it. This is a movie I really enjoy. I always have. Every time I've ever watched it, I just find it to be a blast. Seriously, it might be my favorite, or it's definitely my favorite sequel. I really like this movie. Now, let's get into it. This is directed by Brian Yuzna. I never know how to say that guy's name. I think that's how you say it. But he directed freaking Society and Bride of Reanimator, Beyond Reanimator, Return of the Living Dead 3, The Necronomicon, Dentist 1 and 2. I love Brian Yuzna. And, you know, I think I said Society already. Did I? I don't know. But fuck, man, I love that dude. So the fact that he did this immediately made it exciting. It was like, oh my God, Brian Yuzna did a fucking Silent Night, Deadly Night sequel, like part 4. This was way out. Like, he was beyond this movie. But I think, honestly, there's no way that this was a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie in production. Like, I would be shocked if it was. This has zero connection. Now, it is set on Christmas, and 2 movies now. In part 2, when Ricky and his girlfriend go to the movie theater, they're watching scenes from part 1, which I don't understand that. Doesn't matter. But also in this one, someone's watching the TV, and they're watching Silent Night, Deadly Night part 3. Better watch out. So this is the second time they've had a meta moment where they're watching the last film on their television. And that's really the only connection outside of the fact that Clint Howard's name in this is Ricky. Now, getting on to Clint Howard, God, I love Clint Howard. I love him so much. Every time he's in a movie, it's awesome. And fucking thank God, for once, Clint Howard isn't just a cameo and underused. He's in this a ton. Fuck yeah, that's a huge part of why I like this movie. Really like the opening, the flaming body falling off the fucking scene, and then this girl comes and investigates, and there's like a chalk line, and only half of her body is burnt. It's silly that there's a chalk line. Like, really, cops leave behind chalk lines in 1990, whatever, when this happened. Come on. I don't think they know what police investigations do anymore out, like, on the corner, like on the street of a public building, like right out on the main drag. That's silly, but whatever, it doesn't matter. We also have Reggie from Phantasm series in this. He isn't in it a whole ton, but he is in it, which is always cool to see him. And a character named Spinach Destiny, or Destiny in the movie, National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, Emilio Estevez, Samuel Jackson, Lethal Weapon spoof. If you haven't seen that movie, it's fucking hilarious. And she plays the love interest for half of the role, and then it's taken over by someone much more attractive. But yeah, if you haven't seen that movie, it's excellent. Moving on. I just was like, oh my God, it's Destiny. I love that chick. Now, this movie kind of has it deals with witchcraft, which that also instantly makes it cool, because witchcraft is one of those things in horror that is almost never done. It's such a shame, because I really like witchcraft within horror, especially when they take it in a more serious direction. Most of the time you see witchcraft in movies, it's attached to kids' films. I'd want to see more legit horror witchcraft films, like trying to be scary, trying to be, frightening, dark. I love that shit. So it was already cool there. It's very rare that we get these. But this very much feels like a man-hater film in a way. I feel I'm watching a Lifetime movie as far as like the central knock on men throughout the movie. It's just like women power, but it's a witchcraft movie, so it kind of makes sense that it's a movie based on women, and men around them are disposable and seen as shit in their eyes. So it's fine. It's a little overdone. Like, everyone she works with is like a male chauvinist, and they just like shit on girls. And I don't know what it was like at this time in the world. I'm sure that it was to some degree true, but I hate when it just demonizes all men in a movie. It's like, come on, not all guys are shit. Like, I get it, you want to fucking make us look like garbage in your movie. Whatever. I guess I'm just being offended to be a guy, but it does seem a little heavy-handed at times. Now, anytime Brian Yuzna is doing a movie, it is going to have awesome FX. Like, he does a lot of body horror stuff, especially in his movie Society. If you haven't seen that, that's like the best body horror movie maybe ever. Up there with Cronenberg type stuff. It's so bizarre and so out there. I love that movie. So it's to be expected here. You're going to get creature effects. You're going to get body horror stuff, like bodies melding together. And there's a lot of like hands where she puts her hands up and they're like, it looks like they're melted together and they're like starting to create this shape in flesh, and awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. All the creature effects, all the practical effects on the bodies, the makeup, all that stuff is top notch. Brian Yuzna, classic stuff. Doesn't let down at all. The lead girl in this movie is really good. I enjoy her. She's very beautiful to look at, which is a plus. But I really like the way she carries herself, and the performance that she gives in this movie. Is it excellent? No. But it's very adequate and oftentimes better than just good. So I enjoyed her a lot in this film. And even though her character makes some silly decisions, there's a scene in this movie where towards the end where she's running away, like I don't know if they're witches, if that's what you want to consider them, but the girls from the cult or whatever are chasing after her, and so she runs out of there and she's like running for her life. So much crazy shit has happened to her, and then she gets home and she like casually strolls into her house. She turns around and she doesn't even close her front door all the way. Watch that scene, it's hilarious. She like closes it almost, and then she just leaves her front door open and then just walks in and is just like looking around her house, not even like that scared. It feels very odd because it cuts directly. It's like a hard cut. She's running, she's fucking frantic, and then it's just hard cuts to her like casually strolling through the door and then not even closing it all the way and then just going to her bedroom. That is an odd edit. I don't know if there was a missing scene there and it was edited out, left on the cutting room floor, but it was jarring to say the least. We have a Rain Man type scene here where she goes and she's trying to fuck her boyfriend on the bed, and Clint Howard's character, who I guess they're trying to get at that he's mentally handicapped or whatever, he just comes in and he sits at the foot of the bed and he starts watching Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3, and he's just sitting at the foot of the bed while they're trying to have sex in the bed, just like in Rain Man. So I think they borrowed from that, but it was a funny scene. And he also, another thing they borrow from here, Clint Howard, during the rape scene where the witches are like holding the girl down, he throws on a penis nose mask like a Clockwork Orange, and it has a feel like Eyes Wide Shut, but this predated that film. But yeah, it borrows a little bit here and there, which is fine. It was cool to see. There's some mess ups in this movie that are pretty, I mean, it's kind of one of those blinks and you'll miss it kind of moments, but I noticed it. on this watch. Number one, the girl, when her hands are like melding together and whatnot, you can clearly see her other hands, like her real hands, holding onto the arms right here from behind. She's just holding them like this. It's just out of frame, but you can clearly see her hands. And then at the end, when she sets the girl on fire, she jumps off the building and you can clearly see the airbag she's about to land in. It's like real quick, half a second, but it's there. It's just weird that when you see that stuff, it's how it happened, like how the editor didn't cut a little bit before the airbag came into the frame. Just, I don't know, like, did they need just a longer shot? Like, we paid for this stuntman and we need 1 millisecond more. I don't know. But I just like the tone of this movie. Yasna just always has this like dreamlike, eerie, atmospheric, nutty horror film that always feels just very off. Like when you're watching it, every secondary character is very bizarre and weird, and it keeps the film feeling bizarre and weird because of it. His worlds that he sets up always just feel off, and I love that shit. And I love the special effects and the creatures and the maggots, the slugs, the cockroaches, or whatever the hell these things are that are coming out. She's giving birth to these things and shit's shooting out of her vagina. I love it. This is such a cool movie. I feel like it never gets enough credit. I wish it was a film that was disconnected from the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise. It is set on Christmas, so technically it has a Christmas theme to it, but it has nothing to do with Christmas in the slightest. It's not part of the film. It's not a plot element. It has nothing to do with the film. It could have been set at any time. So I think it would have gotten a little bit more attention, especially with his name attached to it, if it wasn't part of this franchise and so drastically different. People have a hard time disconnecting themselves from franchises. You know, it happened with Halloween 3. It's happened with plenty of franchises, and this is one of them. This is a better film than it will ever get recognition for, but I enjoyed it. Any other fans out there? Any other people that really enjoy this movie? I'm not going to say it's great and I love it. There are things in it I do love. There's silly things in it, but nothing that I was like, oh, that was stupid. Oh, that was lame. Like, I either like or really enjoy all of this film. So anyway, guys, I will try to get to 5 in the remake soon. Tomorrow's Christmas, or today I guess now, so I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but I will work on it as soon as humanly possible. So Merry Christmas, guys, and have a Happy New Year. That would have applied to my last video, since that's how that ended, in case you didn't watch that one. That's how, doesn't matter. That's a fucking stupid ending, and I shouldn't have used it here. Alright. Merry Christmas, guys.